back to my channel. My name is Tracy and this is the card we are creating today. It's using the Painted Poppies stamp set and the rectangle stitched dies. The supplies for today's card, like I said, we have the Painted Poppies stamp set. I'm using this wonderful large image here of poppies in bloom. The rectangle stitched dies, I'm using the second largest and the 6th and 7th largest. I have the terracotta tile scalloped linen ribbon. This is really pretty. And I'm also using the Versamark ink and black embossing powder for our image here. You also need the heat tool. To create the watercolor wash background, we've got the aqua painter. And the beautiful inks that we're using are Mango Melody, Terracotta Tile and Flirty Flamingo. Let me bring in the card kit. Now all the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description of this video. There's also a link to my online store if you would like to purchase any of the supplies to make this card or to make any other card or project. You can do so in my online store. Use the hostess code for this month. You'll get some really great goodies back. You'll get a handmade project or card. You'll get a bundle tutorial. This is a PDF printable tutorial. And you'll also earn yourself Inky rewards for every $50 that you spend. So it's an absolute win-win for shopping. Okay, we have the thick Whisper White card base. We have terracotta tile, Mango Melody, and also a piece of shimmery white for our background here. I'm going to bring the Big Shot in first and we're going to do our die cutting. So the shimmery white cardstock, we're going to use that second largest framelit. I'm going to run this one through really quickly. The Mango Melody, we're using both the dies here and we're just creating that gorgeous frame. So I'm just going to layer the two in, making sure there's a nice even border, and I've just got a bit of washi tape here. I'll hopefully keep those both dies in place. Let's run that one through. And this gives us some really nice frames. So we have this one that doesn't have the stitching around the outside that we can use again. We've also got the middle piece that's got the stitching all the way around that can be reused. So if you've centered your die in the middle as you've run it through, you've got two other pieces of card that you can use on another card. But we have our beautiful little frame here. Isn't that gorgeous? That's stitching all the way around. Really, really pretty. Let's bring our pieces back in. So we have the terracotta tile. We're not doing anything to that one. I didn't want to run that through anything. I've just left that blank. This one's going to go over the top. But let's first do our heat embossing. So I'm going to bring the embossing buddy in. Because we're using the basic black embossing powder, which is super, super fine, I like to use lots of embossing powder there. I'm going to bring that Versamark ink in. And we have this large die, this large stamp that we're actually going to stamp twice. It doesn't fit, one stamp doesn't fit all the way across. Let me just bring the card in. I just want to show you, I'm actually not going to stamp it right down the bottom. It is going to be stamped up just slightly. And that just allows that ribbon to go on the bottom piece without going over that image too much. Now I'm going to bring the powder in, and the reason I do this is so I don't make a mistake. I could try and stamp that again. Chances are I won't do it properly. So I'm not touching over here, then I won't have to pop that powder down, but let's heat this up and we'll melt that powder. So that's all right to go. Let's re-ink that stamp back up again, and we're just going to stamp the other side. It'd be very hard to line that up again without embossing that left side. I did rock my stamp a little bit here as well, so you do have a bit of a fuzzy image there, but that's okay. We'll keep going. Now that we have that all heat embossed, we're going to do our water washing with our 3 colours. So I have my aqua painter. I'm going to start with the terracotta tile down the bottom. And if you don't have any ink in your lid, all you're going to do is close it up, press down, and there'll be some in the middle. You can also use re-inker as well. So I want a nice quite light wash, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit on the edge there, and then I'm going to go in and just work up a little bit. That's good, I think. Now I'm also going to bring in the heat tool and just heat each colour and dry it before I start with the next colour. You could also leave it and let it dry naturally if you're not in a hurry, but this works just as well. So we're going on with the Flirty Flamingo, and we're using this in the middle, and it just lightens down that terracotta tile. I'm also going to go just down into that terracotta tile just a little bit to blend those colours just slightly. Bringing the heat tool back in. And lastly, moving over to the Mango Melody. I want to blend it to quite a lighter, almost like a daffodil delight, a little bit further up. Not going all the way to the top. I just want to lighten it really quite well right towards the top. Oh, that looks really pretty. Lovely. Now that'll only take just a minute to dry, so let's bring in our card base and we can start popping these pieces together. So we have this one here. It's going to be popped up, so while we're just waiting for that to quickly dry, I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back, but we're not going to pop it down just yet. We have to put the ribbon on before we can pop it down. So think I'm going to add just a few more to really keep that from sagging, because it will sag. There's going to be a bit of weight in there. And I'm going to heat that with the heat tool. It's not quite dry. Okay, just with some liquid glue, we're going to pop that frame down. I'm not popping it up with dimensionals, it's just going to be straight liquid glue down. And let's create a nice little frame there. Really highlighting those gorgeous poppies. I'm going to bring some tear and tape in, and I'm just going to line across that bottom of the frame. And if I turn it over, I'm just going to pop 2 little bits of glue, and this is going to keep the side of the ribbon down. Lost it, was right in front of me. So I'm just going to cut off a length, and if we pull up the backing off this, this is going to be stuck down really well. And then we can pull the backings off the back here and attach those edges. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some tear and tape in and glue this down. Because we have watercoloured the shimmery white card, there is a little bit of bubbling to the cardstock, and that's normal once you add a bit of water or heat to it. But you really do need to make sure that you use a real good strong adhesive to keep it down on your cardstock really well. And tear and tape is one of the best strong adhesives I think there are out on the market. Really great for making 3D projects. And I've never had anything fall apart using the tear and tape. So this is going to be glued in the center of the terracotta tile piece. And I'm going to pop that down on the Whisper White thick cardstock. So this is a pretty easy card. It's not a lot to it, but I think with that extra framing, the little bit of watercolor wash, and that gorgeous ribbon, really makes a wonderful card. So centering that one as well. I'm going to bring the ribbon in again, and we're just going to tie a quick bow. And because this is not double-sided, I actually need to place that through by turning the ribbon around so it's facing the right way. And I will say this doesn't create the nicest, like the thin bow or the smallest bow, but I still think it looks nice. I love the colour, the terracotta tile, really earthy. My ribbon scissors in and just cut off those ends. To pop the ribbon down, I'm going to use some glue dots. I'm actually going to put a couple down on it to give that extra strength. And just because I'm a little bit paranoid that that's going to come up, I'm just going to put a glue dot on each of the bows. Pieces there as well. I chose to use some rhinestones to really give it a little bit of bling. So I've got a smaller one here. And I'm going to use 2 medium ones. I've used 3 small ones in my sample here, but there's today's card. What do you think? Really love it. I think it's a really gorgeous card. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. All the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog. And don't forget, if you're placing an order, to use the hostess code. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.